I don't have a lead-in for this one. We're going to talk about Yoshi really hard. So, all of this goes back to shortly after the development of the original Super Mario Bros. Essentially, after developing, debatably, one of the most important video games of all time, Miyamoto had the thought enter his head of, you know, what if we put this guy in a horse? But technical limitations apparently stopped them from being able to on the NES. Well, from doing it on the NES. Hummer Team figured it out. Must have been one hell of a bodge, but they figured it out. Anyways, so, design-wise, Yoshi is the child of Shigefumi Hino, who's the co-director of the first 3 Pikmin games, and Takashi Tezuka, who's been involved in basically every mainline Mario release bar Galaxy 1. And what a process it was making this dinosaur. The first concept sketch for this available is that. And then he was just this. This looks so goddamn weird. He's malnourished. But eventually his design was pared down to this lovable scamp. Not quite where he is today, but good enough to give him an important role in a game. Super Mario World is a great game. It was also one of a whole 2 Mario releases in 1990. The other one was Dr. Mario, which is a great slide into the category we're talking about. So, near the end of the NES's lifespan, Nintendo threw a bunch of puzzle games onto it, the Game Boy, and occasionally the SNES. These games are not the most fondly remembered. Not that they're bad or anything, I am mainly focusing on the word remembered. I mean, Wario's Woods has Birdo in it, so I'm pretty happy. Anyways, 1991 rolls around, and out comes a puzzle game made by a name that would be much more familiar later down the line. Game Freak. Yeah, those guys that made Tembo the Badass Elephant. So, starting as a magazine, Game Freak would eventually become a development company, putting out their first release, known stateside as Mendel Palace, in 1989. And after putting out Jerry Boy, Nintendo decided to let them make a game with one of their new star characters. And that game's Yoshi, and it's kinda boring. What we've got here is a simplistic 4-lane falling puzzle game. You match 2, and eggs allow for taller clears. But it's not very interesting. Its mechanisms of movement don't really allow for any fun movement stuff or opportunities, unless you've got a turbo button, in which case you can stall. And I had to look up what the differences between Game A and B were. It's what I assumed they were, but the thing is, the way Yoshi's random 2-piece selection works makes this mode boring as hell. The game as a whole is very... Okay, so you know how Oh Shit is the worst level in Pizza Tower because it has the least stuff you can actually control? This is like that, but for a falling block puzzle game. It is weighed down by its pure simplicity rather than being enhanced by it, and if I wanted to be intimidated by 4 lanes, I have plenty of rhythm games to worry about already. What Yoshi has, at its core, is a pretty decent concept that's a little bit weighed down by how simple it is. So, what kind of legacy does it leave? Well, not much from Nintendo. However, the Puzzle Pack, a game included on TI-83 and 4 Plus calculators, has a clone of this game's Type A. This footage was so annoying to record. And also it has a much better game on that 4 in that it has a Panel to Pawn clone I didn't bother recording footage of. Here's a clip from a commercial.
Yoshi,